Shelley Winter here. Her name is Deborah Morton. She is the founder and president and owner of Clario Real Estate. The name of the show is Inside Georgia Real Estate. Let's get right to it. Welcome, Deborah.
Hello, Shelley. It's good to be here.
Good to see you as always. So let's get right to it. I'm making breakfast this morning for the little one and AMAC, the lawyer, and I hear her on the phone. I'm not ear hustling. I just overheard her. But she was talking to, I guess, a friend of hers, and she said, well, are you happy with your realtor? Is she doing okay? Or he doing okay? I heard her say that the realtor that the person's working with is good at finding homes, but wasn't necessarily good at negotiating. And I remember last week, that was kind of a thing we were talking about. So let's pick up that conversation.
I'm really glad to pick up the conversation from last week because I feel like this is a topic that people who want to buy and sell homes, they need to understand. It's not just, it's a multifaceted process. Buying and selling homes, it's not just about the house, but it's about the financial package that comes with it.
Now explain it, the financial package. What does that mean?
From a buyer's perspective, they have to hunt for the best home in the best price range and the best condition that they can find. We all know that. But putting terms together, because the cost of money is higher, putting the terms together that help them actually purchase the house is the secret sauce right now. And we had a caller last week who did not understand why the buyer was asking for so much in seller-paid concessions. That means you have the purchase price of the house, and off of that offer price, the buyer wanted the seller to make additional financial concessions toward the buyer's costs. What the buyers use that money for is to help with their financing package. So financing a home costs money. If you are a cash buyer, call me. I want to help you.
Right. But there's no package, you're saying, right?
Right. So interest rates are high. So if the seller concessions can help go toward the buyer's package, financial package, they can actually buy down their rate. And what that is they're just paying down from a 7% mortgage rate to a 6% mortgage rate.
And the seller can do this?
The seller can do that as part of the negotiating.
What are some ways they do that? How can...
Well, it's just money. It's how we're moving money around because the house might be exactly right for the buyer. It might be in great condition and it might be in the price point that they are technically qualified to purchase. But it's the monthly payment the buyers can't afford because the interest rate on borrowing the money is so high. And can afford, don't want to afford are two different things.
Explain that, please.
Many people qualify for a mortgage based on their debt to income ratio and their credit score and their income. The bank says, sure, you can borrow $800,000. But what comes with that, a house that's priced at that, is the monthly payment includes your principal, but your interest, your taxes, your HOA fees, there's other things as well. And if that particular buyer, Shelley, you guys like to travel. Do you want all of your income, allowable income, to go towards your mortgage payment? Or do you want to preserve money for your monthly expenses that includes vacations and gifts for your friends and family and a life well lived?
Right.
So what you qualify for and what you want to pay in a monthly payment are two different things.
When they qualify you, looking at that criteria, do they qualify you necessarily looking at your income? Because they have your income, right? Do they look at, okay, your income 30% or 20% is supposed to go towards your housing? They look at that?
There are ratios that the buyer has to meet to qualify for certain loans. And there are different loan packages available. A conventional mortgage has certain parameters. An FHA mortgage has certain parameters. If you're a veteran, now is a great time to take advantage of your VA benefits to buy a home because back when the market was crazy in 2021, it was actually really hard to get a VA loan accepted. Because there are restrictions in place, it's a more restrictive circumstances for the seller. It wasn't easy, but we can do it now. So there's lots of different loan packages available. They all have different parameters, and these are all regulated. It's not like these are random rules that your lender's like, no, we don't like you today. We're going to charge you this. It's very clear cut. So qualifying in advance before you go to looking at homes really matters more now than ever before because you have to to know exactly what the cost of money is going to be.
And so the mortgage broker does the packaging, but how does a realtor fit into what you're just talking about?
So this is more of the art of what we do. A lot of people have this notion that all a real estate agent does is search on the internet and send you houses to look at. And, that is one small part of what we do, but everybody has access to the internet. And finding houses online, like when I list a house, I boost it. It's easy to find my listings online because of all the techniques I use to make sure it's visible to everyone. But let's just say that is the very rudimentary, basic level for what an agent will do for somebody. You don't have to have an agent to browse the internet. You can search on Google and find homes.
Right.
Like there's plenty of ways to do that. But the art of what we do is helping take somebody, their whole package, and looking at all of it. It's the house, it's the lifestyle, it's the commute, and my goodness, is it the finances? Because an agent who's good at what they do, they're going to put it all together. And there are options, but your agent has to know what they're doing.
So talking about the concessions, right? Let's say I'm a buyer, right? What are some specific concessions that people as buyers should look to ask for when they're looking at a home? They found a home they like. What are some specific things they should ask for?
Well, everyone's situation will be different. And I know I say that every week, but it's really matters on what their financial background is. Everybody only has so much cash to get into a house with. So finding a house in the right price point and then negotiating not just the sale price, but the seller paid concessions, which can go toward the buyer's closing costs. But the other things that are negotiable would be repairs, would be refrigerators, would be furniture, would be, we don't like to load a lot of stuff to clutter up a contract. Everything in real estate is negotiable, including the fees that the agents are paid. That is being negotiated as part of the contracts now. Several years ago, it was fairly customary. There are no fixed fees.
So when you say a refrigerator, would that be saying, hey, throw in a brand new refrigerator because this one's older?
Or if it's a resale, leave the refrigerator. It fits the kitchen perfectly. I don't want those kinds of things.
Oh, because the person may be taking the refrigerator.
Yes,
right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Pool tables, playground sets, those kinds of things we talk about all the time. Frankly, I hate negotiating furniture and fixtures as part of real estate transaction, but it is part of what happens sometimes. The concession part that we're talking about, I think it's important to note that in the current market where we are today in early 2025, helping buyers, I haven't seen in years new construction builders give as many concessions as they're doing right now. And builders don't always negotiate on price because they have established way before they actually break ground what the pricing is going to be to cost. So they rarely reduce price, but I am seeing some price reductions from builders right now. I'm also seeing them include packages of refrigerators, washers and dryers, blinds. When you buy a new home and you've got 20 windows to put blinds on, that can be expensive cost for a buyer. We are getting concessions like that for our clients from builders now as part of the move-in package. Additionally, most builders have relationships with mortgage companies where if you work with their preferred mortgage lender, the rate buy down is already included. And I'm seeing rates as low as 3.99, 4.99, 5.25% with builders that I've talked to this week.
So mortgage rates, mortgage banks, lending institutions can go below what the government has set.
No, it's a buy down. That's what it is. That's what I'm
Gets
talking
right.
about.
Gotcha,
Rates are what rates are, but you can manipulate the money with good negotiating to get the rate that works for you.
Absolutely. There we go. Brittany in Atlanta, go ahead.
About buying a home privately, not going through a real estate agent. How would that work? We currently pay, rent from a family member. So that's why we want to make it, do a private sale because, everyone's good, everyone's on good conditions, but we just want to know what that process would be, if it's best to have someone represent us or Just want to know what our options are.
You have lots of options. I would recommend in a situation like that you just find a good real estate attorney to write the contract on. If everybody is agreeable to the terms, the pricing, the conditions, it's super simple. But I do recommend that you use a real estate attorney so that the deed transfer gets properly recorded at the courthouse. The money you'll have to work out, but a real estate attorney can help you with that. You don't have to have an agent. Now, an agent can help you.
Does Brittany and her family members, do they need two real estate attorneys representing each side, or can they just use one?
If they're all agreeable, they can use one just to have it right. I mean, you're just having them write up. You can write a contract on a piece of paper and then give it to the real estate attorney and have him. The main thing is you want to make sure the deed transfer is legal, because that is what you're actually buying. When the money transfers hands, if it's not recorded properly with the county courthouse, then you really don't own anything, and you've given money to your family member and you don't have a house legally.
Right. Okay.
That's it. Super simple.
All right.
Send me a message on InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com and I will recommend some real estate attorneys near you.
Thank you,
for
Brittany.
calling.
Good luck.
Thank you.
So with family members, you know, because they always say, and I think Brittany knows her family's going to be fine, right? I think they're going to be fine. But
Are you thinking about your family members?
Well,
Shelley?
no, my family is fine too. But I'm just hearing. We've always heard this truism, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Don't do business with family, right?
You know your family.
Right.
And for everybody out there.
Right.
There are a lot of situations where it works.
Real quick. Brittany, I'm not saying that to you. I'm just saying in a grand general conversation. Go ahead.
Right. You know your family. If you've been renting your aunt's house for 10 years and she's willing to sell it to you for a price you're comfortable with, and you're not questioning the price or that she's, out to harm you, then just write it up. You'll still have to get a mortgage. You'll still, she wants money.
Right.
And with that exchange, but she could do seller financing and hold the note for Brittany for years to come. Brittany can get a mortgage with a traditional mortgage lender and pay out the aunt all at once, or, however they want to work it out.
Right.
It is possible. And a good agent could make recommendations for that, but you don't have to have representation. Now, if you don't trust your family members, by all means, you need your own representation.
Gotcha. Deborah, you talked earlier when we talked about concessions. You talked about repairs. When do you see repairs necessary? Because if I'm buying a house, isn't that the last thing I'd want to have to do?
Every single time. Every single time. There are going to be repairs. Even in new construction, there are things that come up that we have to have the builders repair prior to moving in, and also warranties. The warranties cover things. It's a house. It's not a magic kingdom. There's things.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. My wife and I are looking to purchase our first home in the next 6 to 9 months. And what we were trying to find, we're pretty locked in on a certain area, but is there a way to get ahead on knowing about new community developments? We've looked at a couple with some lots there or sites that they're quote unreleased. And so just trying to find out in a specific development, how would you find out when those become available for purchase, and or how do you stay abreast on new communities breaking ground?
It depends on the company that's hired to market and sell the properties. Every builder has the opportunity to hire professionals to do that. And how they go about releasing in each phase, they call it phases. Phase 1, they sell out. And if you want to be like the first person on the list in phase 2 in a specific community, you have to be on the list with that builder's representative. That list is who you know. There are new construction permits that are pulled. That's public record, and it's pretty easy to figure out where the next development is coming. For those who don't know, and I believe that Parker understands this, the benefit of being in the early and like one of the first people to purchase in a new community is if that community takes a year or two to build out, the homes continue to go up in price, which means instant equity gains for the people. So if you're by the first property and they're building out 100 more properties and it takes a year, the price you paid for your home is going to be less than the person who buys the last home in the community. Right. So by a year later, you don't have just regular market gains. You have that community appreciation working in your benefit.
Where would someone go if when you talked about new builds and going to the county? What department at the county does someone look at to find out, like, hey, I'm in Cobb County and I may want to buy in a new development? Where do I go?
Every county, you can do a simple Google search to find out what permits are. It's all public, and like that's like bird dogging.
Right.
Like there's lots of ways to figure it out, and you don't have to have an agent to do that. Google's your friend, and the counties, like especially Cobb, Fulton, DeKalb, they have it's all public record.
Right.
You just have to be good at searching. So
That's good. Thank you, Parker.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thanks for calling.
Oh, let's go to Lee and Helen. Go ahead, Lee.
Hey, I'm calling because I made a major mistake 10 years ago. I was renting out in northern Georgia, and I had a bunch of rescue dogs, and so the easy answer to my issue was to buy from my landlord. However, my landlord was very politically connected, and the house was run down, and the only person that would finance me was him. So I did an owner finance with 10 grand down, of which he only took 9,993, so he didn't have to report it to the IRS. He wouldn't fix anything. I had to put a roof on. It hadn't been termited, just a bunch of stuff. Then I come to find he has not given me a receipt in 6 years of paying my mortgage. I get most of my money orders from my credit union. However, there's been a few that I've gotten from the post office and wherever, because I'm older. I'm almost 80, and I think they were planning on that I wasn't going to make it. And I found out that when you own or finance, they only need 30 days to take your house back. They don't have to go through the normal channels of what a person that defaults or does that. I went and got a lawyer to try to find out what I owe, because like I said, he won't give me a receipt for how much I owe.
Hey, Lee, can you just get to your question?
My question is, what do I do to fix this so I don't get screwed? Excuse the language.
You're
All
okay.
right.
You're okay. It's a frustrating situation. Your attorney should have given you advice to follow on that. It is an unfortunate situation, but an attorney's education is going to trump mine in this case. Foreclosure is serious in Georgia because of how foreclosure is handled. It can be a very fast process to foreclose on someone who has not made their payments. I definitely recommend.
Lee, do you have an attorney?
Yeah, she said she did.
Well, this is the problem, because he's politically connected. I had to go way outside of town and get somebody in another county because his attorney was the chief judge here. And so I really need another attorney. I had an attorney last year that sent him letters that said, give her a receipt, and he just ignored it.
Send me a message on InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com, and I'll connect you with an attorney that might be able to help. I'm sorry for you having to go through that, but thanks for calling.
You're talking about regulated industry,
Yeah.
right? And realtors and everything. When you do a purchase by owner or whatever that is, you're purchasing from the owner. They're carrying the note and all of that stuff. What are the regulations in those situations? Because it's two non-real estate professionals conducting a business deal.
And anybody can do business that way. It's
Right.
the terms of the agreement, like what is in your contract? What have you agreed to? There are two different things. It's the sale of the home, and it's also the mortgage.
Like what happened to Lee, clearly this person's not a nice person. But when you're in those situations, how do you protect yourself?
That's what lawyers and contracts are for.
Gotcha.
And in her situation, she trusted somebody that maybe isn't trustworthy.
Right.
And that's why, it kind of makes me sick to my stomach, some of the things that I hear about and I see, and it's why I transacted real estate before I became a real estate professional. I bought and sold properties on my own. I was not what you would call like a professional flipper.
Right.
I just dabbled, and I did it without a license, and it was fine. But when I realized what is going on out there, and I realized there is benefits to using a professional, because my job is to protect people from situations like this.
Right.
So anybody can transact. Anybody can find property, sell properties, and all of that. So my advice to the listeners are, if you are buying real estate or selling your own real estate, you better know what you're doing, because at the end of the day, the law is the law, and it can be very painful to be in situations where you're unprotected. That is the why I got licensed, is to help people legally and the right way, on the up and up? Is it the right way to do business? That's what I care about.
We had a question earlier about people who are not putting their houses publicly on the market. They're selling them, but it's not public. Why would someone do that?
A lot of reasons. Some people just don't trust realtors. They think we make too much money and don't do anything. And I understand why a lot of people think that. There's also the hassle factor. Like if you have a home and you know that you can just talk to one person, you don't have to prepare it, you don't have to clean it, you don't have to do anything, and you can get the money you want for it just in a person-to-person transaction. There's some value in the simplicity. Easy is good. And if you're happy with the money you're getting for it, most people, in my opinion, want the most value they can get from their home. So when they hire me, an agent, to sell their home, I am going to advise them on how to maximize their value, the sale price. And that's what most people like, but that's not all people. And there are times where selling fast and easy for convenience and receive less money, sometimes that's best for them. So I don't want to bash too hard on that, because in some situations, I have helped people take cash offers for less than market value before because it was in their best interest. But the key differentiator is I'm not doing it in a predatory fashion. And I think that's where I get a little bit bent out of shape sometimes, where is it truly helpful to somebody or is it predatory? Whose best interests are being served when you accept that cash offer? Yes, I make money at what I do. That is my profession.
Right.
But I bring the value, and I have a track record and data to show that the difference I help people keep in their own pocket more than pays my fees for the process. And I make it easy, I make it legal, and I make it safe.
Going to go to Andrew in Cartersville?
Yes.
Let's go to Andrew. Go
Hi,
ahead, Andrew. Make it quick, Andrew. We're running out of time. Just get to the question, okay?
I've been living in this house from 2007. We bought it. Me and my fiance bought it in 2007, and I've been living here ever since. I was just wondering what the laws were on like adverse possession or squatters' rights, as far as what my rights are as far as living here.
You said you bought the house, so you own the house. You have every right to be in the house, as long as you're paying for the house, unless you have an issue with your mortgage company. I don't understand. If you bought the house.
Yeah. Did you buy the house, Andrew?
It's in my fiance's name, and she's deceased.
Okay, so did the estate go through probate?
It hadn't gone through probate or anything like that.
Okay, legal. Send me a message. I'll connect you with an attorney. InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. You definitely need an attorney.
Okay. Well, I've already contacted an attorney, and she's talking about, after a certain amount of time, isn't there some kind of squatter's rights or something like that?
You need to hire an attorney that's going to represent you to help you get through your situation. The probate, the estate owns the home.
Deborah Morton, last message before we go really quickly to the audience.
Oh, make sure you are legal and protected. Goodness gracious, today was interesting. You have to make sure that if you're transacting real estate, if you're selling your home, make sure it's legal. If you're buying a home, good Lord, make sure you're legal. Get some representation.
How can people get in touch with you really quickly?
InsideGeorgiaRealEstate.com. Send me a message. I'll give you a free buyer and seller guide that details how important it is to have good representation.
Have a great weekend, everybody. God bless.